What up, you players? Welcome to the channel. Today we talk about some Dead by Daylight. Now I want to say talk about it because the PTB that I'm currently in is extremely unstable and I don't have enough friends that play so I can do a custom lobby game. But we're going to do the best we can and go over the changes that are coming to the Cannibal and the Hillbilly. Now the Cannibal's basic his power is being changed and his add-ons, which is everything to a killer. What am I talking about? Now, the way the Cannibal is going to work now is somewhat to the nurse. He's going to have charges to his power. He's going to start with a base of 3. Every time you activate your chainsaw, it consumes 1 charge. Now, during your chainsaw sweep, which lasts 2 seconds, you can activate your power again by using the power button to get a boost during it. I'm gonna call it boost for now because that's what I'm gonna keep calling it. It calls it a boost, which will give you another 2 seconds in your chainsaw sweep, which you can do that. If you do it again, you could extend your chainsaw sweep again, which makes sense. So if you have 3 charges, activate chainsaw, you're now down to 2 charges. You can then use your chainsaw sweep boost, so now you're down to 1 charge to extend it another 2 seconds, which you can then use that last one to extend it another 2 seconds for a duration of 6 seconds chainsaw boost, or chainsaw sweep, which I think is pretty awesome. Now each time you use this chainsaw boost and you miss or hit a wall, it increases the cooldown by 1 second or your tantrum by 1 second. So be careful with that. Now your charges refill at 1 charge every 4 seconds, so 12 seconds will give you all your charges back, so it's not too bad. And your movement speed is now 5.29 instead of 5.06. So the chainsaw gave you a 10% movement speed while doing it, but now it gives you roughly a 14.83 or 15% movement speed increase, which I think is pretty awesome. So now you don't have to use speed add-ons to catch survivors, which is very nice. Also, if you rev your chainsaw for too long, just keep holding it there while you're, like he used to do while face camping, it will automatically trigger a tantrum instead, so no more just holding your chainsaw for as long as you want. If you do trigger a tantrum, any charges you have left are consumed. Whether it's because you bumped the wall or held it for too long, all of your charges are consumed. And his add-ons have been changed, which I think is cool. We'll go over his add-ons in a bit. I haven't checked Billy, but I did do 1 game of Cannibal. Like I said, the PTB is just absolutely vexing right now. The Hillbilly has now an overheat mechanic. Using the chainsaw will now build up heat. When reaching the maximum amount of heat, the chainsaw overheats and cannot be used until it is cooled down. The numbers. So, chainsaw meter heat starts at 0. If you starting to rev, adds 5 charges. Actively revving it out adds 10 charges per second. So you know how Billy likes to hold his charges while you're at a loop holding around? Well, that's going to add 10 charges per second. Actively sprinting adds just 2 charges per second. So you will overheat while running with the chainsaw active. That's crazy. While not using the chainsaw, the heat meter dissipates at 3.5 charges per second, and when the chainsaw overheats, the meter dissipates at a meter of 6.6 seconds. So if you overheat, it'll come back faster. Maybe there's a build that we can think about where you're intentionally overheating so that way you can get it back faster. If the meter hits 100 charges, then it overheats. If the chainsaw overheats during a sprint, the sprint is not interrupted, the chainsaw goes through cooldown phase after the sprint has ended. Not bad. So you're not, that's good. I like that. I was wondering if it gets to 100 charges while you're running, will it completely make you like stop and do a stun or something? So the Hillbillies, most of his add-ons have been changed. I have not seen those. We'll figure those out. Now the perks that have been changed, which I'm excited for. Franklin's Demise. Instead of an item losing their charges when dropped, the entity now will claim items after 150, 120, and 90 seconds if it is not picked up. Additionally, Franklin's Demise will reveal the aura of items on the ground within a 32-meter radius. So now my question is, if you open a chest and an item sits there, that's on the ground, that's considered on the ground. Or if you replace an item you have that's in the chest, will that item disappear? I don't know, and I'm very curious. Knockout now triggers on basic attacks only, not with powers. Additionally, survivors put into the dying state by your basic attacks will crawl at 50% slower for 15 seconds. During this time, they are affected by the blindness status. I do not like this. I get it. So the knockout base, the way the knockout works now is still the same. Survivors can't see you outside a 16-meter radius, yada yada yada. However, the crawling at 50% slower for 15 seconds to me doesn't make much sense, because the average survivor isn't spending their first 15 seconds crawling. They're spending the first 15 seconds building up their recovery meter so they be picked up. During this time, they are affected by the blindness status, which is okay. You're not crawling to another survivor, but typically you aren't crawling to another survivor. You're trying to crawl away or crawl to a pallet. I don't know. These changes are nice. It doesn't. All it does is make knockout stronger, but questionably stronger. I would have to try it out and test it and see how effective it is. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be very effective. Lightborn grants immunity to blindness caused by flashlights and firecrackers. Survivors that attempt to blind you have their aura revealed for 6, 8, and 10 seconds. Now that is how you buff a perk. That is just all. Lightborn gives you 80% resistance to the flashlights, and you recover 50% faster from blindness. That is what the old Lightborn does. This Lightborn just says, screw that, you're completely immune to flashlights and firecrackers. And if they try to flashlight you, you can see them through walls for 10 seconds. Yes. Yes, I'm down with that. Tinkerer now triggers at 70% instead of 85%, which is thankful, because if you aren't a speedy killer, and sometimes even if you were, they'd be done the generator before you even got there, and grant you undetectable status for 12, 14, and 16 seconds, up from 8, 10, and 12. So this is just an all-around buff. It triggers sooner and you stay undetected for longer. All around, Tinkerer is just a buff, and I can see me using it every now and then. Still on a sprinty killer, but still, it's better than it was before. And some bug fixes, which I will not go through because I don't care. Now, if you want to look at a few of the add-ons, I'm probably not going to go through all of them, but there are some I've looked at so far for Hillbilly. As you can see here, the iridescent flesh right now is one of the ones I like right now. For a Hillbilly, for a Cannibal, the Cannibal, when hitting a survivor with your chainsaw, replenishes its charges. So if you go all the way down to 0 charges just to catch a survivor and then chainsaw them, you go back up to 3 charges. If it's not at the end of your chainsaw, you can spend those new 3 charges to keep on boosting for another 2 seconds. It's absolutely amazing. I've seen True Talent do it on his Twitch. However, he paired it with the new carbureting tuning guide that automatically consumes all charges when triggering a chainsaw dash, slightly increases your chainsaw dash duration, slightly increases your chainsaw sweep maximum speed, so you're slower while doing your chainsaw, and probably back to the 10% boost instead of the 14% boost, and slightly increases the chainsaw duration and decreases the recharge rate, which means you're boosting longer, but you get it back faster when you're done recharging. I honestly think that's not the play. I personally think you go with the award-winning chili, which increases your dash duration when you consume a token and increases the window additional chainsaw window, which I'm not entirely sure what that second one means, but the modern increases the dash duration is awesome because it doesn't hinder your speed. You still stay at that 5.26 or 29, and you get them refreshed whenever you hit a survivor. I think this combo is the combo. The other changes are many changes, like the depth gauge rack increases the number of charges, slightly increased charge time, it decreases the maximum speed. There's the light chassis has been reworked. You can see survivors' auras within 8 meters while revving, which is great. You just run around, rev. You don't really rely on your chainsaw, just rev to see where they are and find them. So these are all different things that have been changed. The speed limiter is the same, but increases the rate at which to replenish. The long guiding bar doesn't increase the range anymore. Okay, so, but I'm very curious. Now hear me out. This is probably me just spitballing stupidity, but the grease, it moderately increases the movement speed during the tantrum. very curious about that because the tantrum can still down people. I want to know why make an item that increases the movement speed on tantrum and increases duration and reduces the tantrum duration. Like, maybe there's a play here. I honestly, I think the grease is going to be terrible otherwise, but I'm curious. It's a weird add-on, and I want to try and use it. If you got the begrimed chains, instead of giving mangled status, they now drop their items, basically a Franklin demise. You can now chainsaw and have Franklin demise. No matter what you do, you drop items, and then the entity will claim it. Pretty awesome. Now, this is going to be new for me. Looking at Billy. That's the blood web. That mean that they gave me 39 Lapro chains. Continue a chainsaw sprint after breaking a pallet. Chainsaw survivors hit with a chainsaw are damaged for a single health state. This right here is so good. This is so good. Honestly, I think it would have been better on Cannibal, but this is still so good. They drop a pallet, you chainsaw through it, you hit them. It's one stage. Don't matter. It's like swinging through a pallet, but better. This is worth it. Chainsaw is silent outside the terror radius. I love terror radius builds. I'm definitely gonna be using the Apex muffler when I get a chance, because the Apex muffler is really good. Moderately decreases the heat gained when starting the rev of a chainsaw. Gotta test those out. Thompson's Moonshine, which drift. These are a lot of gain undetectable status for 15 seconds after laying the chainsaw. You do this one and the Apex muffler, chainsaw them, boom, now you're silent. Rev around here, they don't get to hear chainsaw. These are all the things I'm talking about, like this build right here. Bop, bop. And then you run some other perks that allow you to become undetectable. Just go undetectable as often as possible. I really like this idea. I haven't tested it, I haven't played them, but I think that's enough for me rambling on over and over again. I hope you guys liked what we got here. Sorry I couldn't get more gameplay in. PTB sucks right now. If you have any questions or any other build ideas that you are thinking about, put them down in the comment section below. And let's hit that. Let's do that whole YouTube spiel. You know the whole thing. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that dazzabazz. And with that, guys, I'm gonna have a good day. Because it's the sun is out. That's why I was not having a good night. Yeah, it's cheesy. I don't give a damn. I'll see you guys in the next video. Chowder.